Okay guys, so this is going to be some more right triangle trig. We're going to use our knowledge of sine, cosine, tangent to find missing sides, area of triangles, and angles. Okay, so on these problems, you got to make sure you're in the right mode if it's in degrees or radians, that sort of thing. So make sure you pay attention to that. Okay, so the first one. I'm given this angle of 59.4 degrees, and I have these two sides right here. So I have the opposite and I have the adjacent to that angle. So I'm going to set up a tangent ratio. So tangent of 59.4 degrees is equal to, we'll call this x over 311. Okay. Now to solve for x, we're going to multiply the 311 over. So 311 tangent of 59.4 is equal to x. So I'm in degrees. So we do 311 tangent of 59.4, and I get 525.872. So 525.872. Okay, and that's it. Nothing more to it. This question, I'm given the opposite and the adjacent to this angle right here, to the 39. Okay, so we're going to set up tangent because SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so tangent is equal to, tangent of 39 degrees is equal to the opposite, which is 14 over, we'll call that x. Now, whenever your x is on bottom, you're going to multiply it over to this side. Oh, sorry. We'll say 39 degrees is equal to 14. So we multiply it over, and then we're going to divide the tangent of 39 to the other side. Okay, now, so we put that in the calculator. 14 divided by tangent of 39 is 17.289. Now, just an FYI, if what you're solving for is on top, you're just going to multiply it over. If it's on bottom, you're going to do 14 divided by whatever the trig was, okay? So if you're going to do this quickly, you know, without having to write that out every single time, that's the way you're going to do it. Okay, so on this one, I want to find the angle. So I'm going to have to use some sort of inverse trig, and I'm given the adjacent to the angle and the hypotenuse. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with cosine. So cosine of theta is equal to 0.922 over 1.37. Now, anytime I'm looking for an angle, I'm going to use inverse trig to solve for cosine. So I need to make sure I'm in radians. So inverse cosine of 0.922 divided by 1.37, and I get 0.833. Radians. Okay. Okay. Next one. I'm finding this angle and I'm in degrees. So I need to make sure I convert my calculator mode to degrees. Okay. So I'm given the opposite and the hypotenuse to that angle. So I'm going to use sine. So sine of theta is equal to 1260 over 1530. Now, to solve for theta, we're going to do inverse sine of 1260 over 1530. Just put that in a calculator. So inverse sine of 1260 divided by 1530, and you get 55.440. 55.440 degrees. Okay. Next question. You're looking for the missing side. So we're just going to do a simple Pythagorean theorem. So 427 squared plus 419 squared is equal to c squared. So 427 squared plus 419 squared. And then I'm going to square root it to find the answer. So you get 598.240. Now, realistically, if you're in an SAT or whatever, you're not going to have a lot of time. So you need to be able to do this a little bit quicker. So I knew I was going to have to take a square root, so I just add them together and square root it. On this one, we're given the adjacent and we're given the hypotenuse. So we're going to use a cosine ratio. So we say cosine of theta is equal to 14.2 over 17.5. Now, when we're solving for an angle, we got to make sure that we use inverse trig. Okay, and we need to make sure we're in radians. So let's make sure our mode's in radians. So inverse cosine of 14.2 over 17.5 is 0.624 radians. Okay, and our last example problem, last two example problems. Okay, so we're given an angle and we're given the height of a right triangle. We want to find the area. Okay, so area of a right triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Okay, so we're given our height. We want to find our base. Okay, so we got to set up a trig ratio. So we're going to be dealing with tangent because we have the opposite and the adjacent. So we say tangent of 40.2 is equal to h is 52.6 over b. Okay. Now, recall what I told you earlier. If we're solving for b and it's on the bottom, we're going to end up dividing. So it's 52.6 divided by tangent of 40.2 when we go and solve for b. Okay, make sure we are in degrees. So 52.6 divided by tangent of 40.2, we get 62.244. Now we're not done with the problem because it says find the area. So area is 1/2 62.244 times 52.6. So we're going to multiply that out. Okay, so you get 1637.009. Okay, that's how we find the area. Next one, you give it a right triangle. It says you want to find the perimeter. Okay, so remember, perimeter is going to be the distance around. So what I would do on this is I would say this is x, and I would find this third side, we'll call it y, by Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so we're going to set up our trig ratio. We're given the opposite and the adjacent. So we're going to say tangent of 0.66 is equal to x over 0.0589. Now, remember what I said is if what we're solving for is on top, you're going to end up multiplying that over. Okay, so we're going to multiply 0.0. We need to make sure we're in radians first. 0.0589 times tangent of 0.66, and you get 0.0457. Now in a right triangle, to find the third side, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So Pythagorean theorem is going to look like this. Okay, so we're going to add them together, square them, and then, square them, add them together, and then square root. So 0.0589 squared plus 0.0457 squared, square root of the answer, square root of the answer, and you get y comes out to be 0.0745. Okay, and then I'm going to add all those together. Now, the way I did this answer thing is if you do second and you hit the negative key right here, it'll pull up the answer from the previous line. So you don't have to retype all those numbers. Okay, so perimeter-wise, so 0.0589 plus 0.0457 plus 0.0745. So I got perimeter equals to 17.1791. Okay. And that's it. This is just a good little review for what we're going to do in the next lesson, where we're finding angle of elevation and depression and setting up these right triangles. Some of you will notice that these are UIL problems. I use UIL problems all the time. There is one problem on the practice problems I'm not going to want you to do. And I set on the answer key, it says that I want my UIL kids to do it, but not y'all. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks, and have a good day.